Hey everyone, Sterling here of Cactus Lady Creation, and in this video I'll be sharing some crochet fashion trends that are set to take off in 2025. And to compile this list, I've looked at the fashion industry, social media, trending search terms, and have taken some notes from my travels out and about to see what people are actually wearing. I'll also be sharing some trends that I personally hope to see take off as well. Fashion in 2025 is all about embracing creativity and individuality. So at the end of the day, you should wear and create whatever speaks to you. The more you add your own unique spin to your pieces, the cooler they are as well. That said, I personally love exploring different trends and just gaining inspiration from them for my own pieces, as well as seeing how they evolve throughout history and how different trends go in and out of style throughout the years. So I hope that you enjoy this too and gain some inspiration from all of this. All right, let's begin. So the first trend that I see really taking off this year is called Rococo. Rococo is a style of art that was all the rage, specifically in the final phase of the Baroque era in the 18th century. Rococo style focuses on elegance, intricate details, and playfulness, with the color palette being warm pastel colors like cream, pearl gray, whitish yellow, and very light blue. It's a style that celebrates opulence, feminine aesthetics, and all of the frills. Feminine silhouettes to embrace with this trend are flowing fabrics, ruffles, lace, and corset inspired designs. And I think that this style would be so fun to experiment with creating layered lace pieces with all of the frills, lots of volume, and maybe even experiment with petticoat cages underneath some of your garments. I think that would be so cool. And if you're a fan of mermaid core but with a darker, edgier twist, you might like this next one, and it is Sea Witchery. This style embraces seashells, moody oceanic hues, wet hair look, and ethereal vibes overall. In order to embrace it into your crochet makes, you can explore making shell backs, play with edgy ocean palettes when making flowy garments, and create mesh pieces, and you can even distress your pieces to give it a little bit of texture. You can also use more open work stitches to give your pieces more of a sheer look, and incorporate shell or ocean beads into your makes. Create pieces to layer over bathing suits and resort wear, which is really in right now. And if you want to see some mermaid core crochet piece ideas, definitely check out my mermaid core crochet patterns video. I'll link that above as well as in the description box below. And you can just try making some of those different patterns out with that more moody palette. Now this next trend is really taking off, and it's called castle core. So Renaissance fairs have really been all of the rage lately, and what better way to enjoy going to a Renaissance fair than creating your own piece? And castle core specifically has more of a knight and gothic sort of twist to that medieval era. Explore your darker side by creating pieces that a knight would wear, and there are a lot of different elements to play around with when mixing the masculine and the feminine with this trend. A side note is that one of the coolest ways I've seen the castle core sort of trend incorporated into home decor is this crochet chess set. I know that I'm focusing on crochet fashion for this video, but I did see this crochet chess set while researching for it, and I just thought that this was really creative and goes with the castle core vibe. So I'll leave the pattern to that chess set below in the description box. I just thought it was really cool. And one of the coolest makes that I've stumbled upon lately was this knight armor piece by Caitlin Tate. I thought that it was so gorgeous and loved all the texture and details with this one, as well as how structured it is. Another cool way to create a piece would be to experiment with crocheting with jewelry chains, as I've seen quite a few creators crocheting chain hats and even corsets and bodices with chains, or making chain-like designs and then adding beads to them. So there are a lot of possibilities with this one. And let me know in the description box below if you'd like to see a castle core specific crochet patterns video. And the next trend that I think we'll be seeing a lot more of, especially in the spring and summer, is the baby doll trend. And this has been in for the last couple of years, especially with the silky dresses that I've been seeing. but I think that it's going to skyrocket even more this year. Not only because it's a loose fit and more feminine silhouette, but also because it's comfortable and classic. It just seems to always come back into style. The baby doll style has been spotted on runways, and I especially thought that it was interesting when it was featured with an asymmetrical design. It'll also have a lot of really unique twists on it, like this gingham pattern, lots of layers for added drama, and for spring, we'll especially see it in white, which is really classic, as well as different pastel colors, and this really trendy buttery yellow color. And it's really easy to embrace this baby doll style into our crochet makes, and I'll link some specific patterns on the blog, which you can find linked in the description box below. And you can just experiment with adding elements to your own tops or dresses to embrace this style. And another trend that would be really fun to embrace in our crochet makes this year that's really taking off is called fisherman aesthetic, or I've also seen it called fisherman core. Fisherman aesthetic has been described as embracing denim, cabled knits, or Fair Isle sweaters and stripes. And it's really funny because when I was first digging into what fisherman aesthetic was, I also saw a few writers calling it fish wife aesthetic, which if you're from the UK, I know that means something completely different. So I thought that was kind of funny, but when I dug a bit deeper, I saw that it was basically a bit more of a rugged spin on the classic French coastal aesthetic. The color palette is very similar, but a bit more utilitarian outerwear with a bit more wool, worn leather, and net textured accessories, and fisherman sandals or sturdy boots. We can sport this style with crochet by creating mesh accessories, cabled sweaters, bucket hats, striped garments, and Fair Isle sweaters in that lovely fisherman color palette. And if you didn't know, you can also crochet that Fair Isle style. You don't have to learn to knit, or if you prefer to crochet, you can also crochet that Fair Isle style. And I'll link to my video where I share some Fair Isle crochet patterns in the card above. All right, so this next trend is one that we'll definitely be seeing a lot more of this year, I think, and it's called goddesscore. Goddesscore had a 40% increase, and goddess energy aesthetic had a 170% increase in the search terms of Pinterest. It's a very ethereal and romantic style that is inspired by Hellenic, Roman, and Egyptian goddesses, and it's all about all gold everything. I definitely think that this aesthetic is interesting, even though I personally lean more towards silver than gold. This is a really great excuse to make some gold pieces and play around with crochet gold headdress or flowy garments and dresses in general, especially with thinner yarn weights that are more shimmery or metallics. It could also be nice to create some veils and beads to add to them as well. Another trend to explore in our crochet makes this year is one that I just discovered when I was researching for this video, and now that I have, I'm totally obsessed with it, and it's called solarpunk. Whereas cyberpunk is a bit more dystopian technological future, solarpunk is more utopian and depicts a future where humans live in harmony with nature, technology, and each other. It's all about community, centricity, open source ethos, floating villages, rooftop gardens, and the clothing is flowy, earth-toned, and made with natural fibers. It's all about conscious consumption. And this is an aesthetic that I personally would love to explore a bit more with my own crochet makes as well, and really hope that it takes off. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see a specific solar punk crochet patterns video. And this aesthetic would be really easy to incorporate into our crochet makes. Of course, you can play around with more earth-toned and natural sort of colors, and also use sustainable yarn choices to create more flowy garments. We'll also see both maximalism and minimalism continue to trend and evolve, and it's really interesting to see how they both evolve in different ways over the last couple of years as well as into this year. So over the past few years, maximalism has been all about dopamine dressing, which is about choosing, mixing, and matching different colors and patterns that you like to make you feel happy and boost your mood. And this is definitely still in. More is definitely more with maximalism this year. And a fashion icon that I always think of with this specific maximalism approach is Iris Apfel. So if you're a big fan of her, you probably are more of a maximalist as well. Her approach to fashion is all about embracing style that is about self-expression, not age or convention, which I absolutely love. And you can easily incorporate this into your makes by playing with and creating different textures, creating fun and unique patterns, and trying to create something that you've never seen before and combine eclectic color palettes. And for minimalism, I've seen a lot of what could be described as minimalist boho style. This includes mixing old vintage finds with new contemporary pieces, for example, pairing a vintage fringe jacket and modern ankle boots, and adding statement accessories such as chunky jewelry or stackable rings to your look. Whereas boho is more loose and flowy, this is more tailored and polished with lots of layering to create depth without overwhelming the look. Grunge minimalism also seems to be really in right now as well. I've also seen it called soft grunge because while it does include some of those more classic grunge elements, it's a bit more tailored and polished, such as pairing flannel with trousers or corduroys. And if you want to incorporate that more soft grunge look into your crochet makes, I've actually made a grunge crochet patterns video, which you can find in the card above, and check that out after this one. I was also thinking of making a minimalist crochet patterns video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. You can also check out the absolute beginner crochet patterns video, which I have some more basic crochet pieces in that one, and you can easily make some of those and style it with that more minimalist sort of approach. So if you've been around here at all for a while, you'll know that I love bolder colors and more statement pieces. But it seems like this year, especially in the spring, more softer color palettes and neutral tones are really taking the cake. Some of the colors that are really taking off this year are more neutrals, as well as candied pastels and earth tones, such as mocha mousse and emerald green. True red always is in, it seems, but it's really having its moment right now as a statement color. And lots of darker denim is also in as well, and is also timeless really. Especially for spring, I've seen a lot of buttery yellows and even tangerine, as well as sheer dusty pinks. Sustainability is also continuing to be a significant focus in the fashion world, and as crocheters, we can really easily embrace this by creating makes with more sustainable yarn choices. We can choose more natural fibers such as plant-based fibers or animal-based fibers such as wool, and also recycled fibers. We can also make more upcycled pieces and scrap yarn pieces, and I have quite a few videos on different crochet patterns that you can make with scrap yarns, and will always continue to also make more. I also really love granny squares for this because they're just naturally a scrap yarn project, and so we'll definitely be seeing more granny square crochet patterns in the future, and they're really great and versatile to make so many different designs with. And by making more conscious choices, we can also enjoy our love of craft while caring for the planet. I know for myself, I'm currently going through all of my acrylic yarns and just trying to use them all up and creating lots of scrap yarn projects, and just am going to try and consciously consume more plant-based fibers in general. And also in general, I just want to be less stash focused and more just focused on actually using the yarn that I actually have before going out and purchasing more yarn. I'm also looking into how to spin my own yarn and want to learn how to plant and grow fibers that I can spin into yarn, just to be more connected to the craft, as well as to learn more about yarn production in general. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and got some inspiration from some of the different trends that I mentioned. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and click the bell if you want to be notified for more videos like this each week. Also, if you want to check out more laid back videos where I just share some different crochet pieces that I'm making, you can check out the Crochet With Me playlist next. And if you want to see more specific crochet projects to dive into for your next project, check out the Crochet Inspiration playlist. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.